feeling right now?
I'm so excited. I am just beyond excited because now you can outwardly say, this is the guy I wanted, this is the guy who spoke his mind, this is the guy that's going to fight for us.
Why did you vote for him? Why? You've been working for him as a volunteer. Why?
Yeah, because he's going to take our country back. There are different things that, again, as a business owner, you want to just taxes, Obamacare. There are just all these different.
You said to me earlier that you felt like he says the things that other people don't say out loud.
No, they don't. And people say, well, he said this about women. He said that. What is he said that I don't hear other women saying about men? Women talk about men all the time and have said worse than he's ever said.
Lisa, thank you. We got a whole table full of Trump supporters, but let me pivot over here. We actually asked some folks to move over here who voted for Hillary Clinton. How are you feeling? You're watching the TVs in here. The sound isn't up, but you can see what's happening. How are you feeling?
A little bit nervous. I'm a little bit surprised about Florida being so close. I don't want it to go back to a Bush-Gore thing where they have to recount the votes, but I really think it's going to come down to Florida.
Everybody's nodding along at the table. Nobody wants a recount again, myself included. I was in Tallahassee for a long time. Tell me why you think this county might go for, Montgomery County might go for Hillary Clinton.
Oh, I'm actually from Illinois, but...
Oh, okay. Okay. You're from Philly. Okay, well, we got a mixed crowd in the bar, but why did you vote for her?
Well, actually, I didn't vote because I'm not American, but I'm a Hillary supporter.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Lester, I would say it's very loud in here. There's a DJ playing behind me, so folks can't really hear all of our coverage, but we've got it all on the screens, and people are glued to the screens. And just a note about Pennsylvania and where we are, we're hearing that the lines were so long in some places that people are still voting. Even though polls closed technically at 8 o'clock Eastern time 2 hours ago, people are still in line. In certain parts of the state, I'm hearing Adams County, I'm hearing around Pittsburgh and in Philadelphia, there are still lines out there. Lester?
34% of the vote in Pennsylvania. Clinton in the head. Kate, thanks very much. We have another projection coming in. I'm told it's New Mexico. NBC News projects that Hillary Clinton will win the 5 electoral votes in the state of New Mexico. Let's go to Hallie Jackson right now, who is digging deeper into some of these numbers on this very, very tight race right now in the exit poll.
And Lester, we're looking at 3 key battleground states right now, states that are extremely close in our battleground map. Let's start with Michigan because we've been talking about that all night. We want to focus on what's driving this close race in these states. And in Michigan, at this moment, our exit polls are showing it appears to be white voters without a college degree. Look at this column here, the Republican candidate. The Republican candidate in 2012 got 55% of the vote. Donald Trump right now is doing better, up 6 points. So he is overperforming the Republican from 2012, Mitt Romney. And look at the Democratic candidate, of course, Hillary Clinton. In 2012, Barack Obama, the Democrat, got 44% of the vote. She is down 13 percentage points from that position from where they were in 2012. So that is really what we're looking at and what we're sort of diving into when it comes to Michigan. I want to pull up Pennsylvania now because we're taking a look at the age gap, right? Voters in Pennsylvania under the age of 30, the so-called millennials, if you will. They're turning out, they're breaking out for Hillary Clinton by 55% to 39%. It is the flip, the reverse of that, when you look at voters over 65 going more for Donald Trump. He's got about 50% of the vote. She's got 48% of the vote. And then in another key battleground state, we want to look at the race breakout in Florida. Let's pull it up here. Those voters in Florida who have a favorable opinion of Donald Trump. Most white voters in Florida do have a favorable opinion. 1 in 4 Hispanic voters roughly have a favorable opinion. But only 1 in 10 black voters feel that same way. And this demographic here, the African-American vote, the Hispanic vote, that is going to be crucial to what we see in Florida when it comes to turnout. I did speak with one source close to the Trump campaign who said, hey, we are not getting crushed with the Hispanic vote right now, and that is a good sign for them. Lester?
Hallie Jackson, thanks. Back to our panel, and joining us now is Mike Murphy, an NBC News political analyst who served as senior strategist for John McCain's first campaign for president in 2000. And Mike, nice to have you here. For those who thought this was going to be an early evening, you say?
Yeah, anything but. I thought it would be an early evening. I thought Florida, a state I worked a lot, and most of the political hacks on both sides thought it would be a 2 to 3 point early defeat for Trump, and that would set the tone. Instead, Florida now is going to be hard.
Mike, I'm going to ask you to hold off again. We have another call here in the state of Missouri, and NBC News projects that Missouri will go to Donald Trump. Donald Trump will win. And let's look at where things stand right now. There's a Missouri call, and can we show the where we stand in the race to 270? There it is right now. Trump with 150, Clinton 109. The race to 270. Mike, I cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What's interesting about Florida is the pattern is unlike anything I've seen in Florida politics before. You get a more urban Republican area like Jacksonville, Duval County, Trump's doing horribly. He's doing under Romney in the bigger Tampa counties. But you go north of Tampa to the exurbs, he's off the charts. He's breaking the meter like numbers we haven't seen before. And that's moving the whole state to a point where, well, I believe it'll tighten. There's more of her vote out than his. Yeah, I don't think she's going to be able to make it.
So far, he hasn't won anything that we didn't anticipate. But you, Chuck, you're punching the numbers in Florida. You think?
Look, there's just not enough. I just, maybe there's some extra vote that we don't know about. And again, I stress that happens. And I remember vividly in 2000 the 50,000 vote error that was discovered late. So don't forget those things happen here. But you look, and there's trickles that are left. Almost every county is reported. What's out is there's only one county that's out that's more favorable to Trump. Polk has a little bit. But Volusia, which is Daytona, essentially, and that's basically a 50-50 county. There's a lot of Volusia out, but that's not enough for her to gain ground. It's Palm Beach, Miami, and Broward.
Right.
Is there enough vote out there left in those bottom three counties for her to close this gap? But I have to tell you, the gap grew again. She got it down to 111,000, and then it's back up to 130. So I don't see the path forward for her in Florida. So now, listen to this. Last time a Democrat won the White House without the state of Florida was Bill Clinton, 1992. So maybe she's got that karma going for her. I don't know. And the last time you lost Florida and Ohio and still won the White House was John Kennedy.
But her other paths carry her through some of these other states that are too close to call right
Yes,
now. Yes,
but we're looking at a situation here, I think, that it's Michigan. I really do. That at the end of the day, we're staring at Michigan. I go through this. Pennsylvania, she probably does eke it out. We'll see. She has to do that, but we're looking at Michigan being
What
the
is so fascinating is nobody was talking about Michigan until about 5 days ago.
Except Michael Moore, I'll give him that. He has been screaming about it, to his credit.
To his credit. It is his home state. We all like to talk about our home states. We look at Chuck with Florida, but I mean, Trump, they saw something going on in Michigan. They sent him there, and people were saying, what? And then the Clinton team added a stop. President Obama was there.
Can we put Michigan on the screen and see where we are?
Somebody's done a lot of governor campaigns in both Florida and Michigan. There's one difference. Michigan has rural counties that are more Democratic in many places compared to Sunbelt and southern states.
They have been.
Yeah, they have been. Will Trump really turn that over? And will Detroit vote and Flint what it normally does, or will it be under enough that Trump's overage in some of these places will make it? And Trump is doing well in some of these smaller counties right now at the beginning, but there's a lot of Michigan still out. It's going to be tight.
What has been totally underestimated by those of us in the so-called pro-establishment and the people who have been looking at this is the depth of the anger, the depth of the people saying, I want to change. I don't care if I have to pull the pin on a grenade and roll it across the country. Whatever it takes, we want change, and we want big change.
But the other thing we did, and I have to say this, is that I think in general, and the biggest critique on the establishment, and I throw the media in here, as well as the two political parties, we've overlooked rural America a bit too much. And I think in hindsight, everybody's been talking about the changing demographics of America and the changing face of America. That's all true. But we've forgotten about rural America, and rural America is basically saying, hello, they are screaming at us to say, stop overlooking us. We're not ready to have just 21st century fly by us.
But some of this has been hiding in plain sight. I mean, Donald Trump came in with a message that was very distinct and very different from Republican orthodoxy, from the way that the Republicans have always run as free traders, and they love free trade agreements. And if his message is resonating, this is where it was going to resonate. If it was going to make a difference, this is exactly where. So in some ways, ultimately, it's not surprising that now we're focused like a laser on this section of the country.
And building a bit of a new coalition with that economic populism. But will it have long enough legs? We'll see.
Yeah, well, we still have hours to go here. And by the way, if you have a restaurant that delivers breakfast, I'd call them right now.
Joining us now is conservative political commentator and host Glenn Beck, founder of The Blaze. Glenn, nice to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Give us your take on what is happening here, because things are a lot tighter than many had imagined tonight.
Yeah, a lot tighter than I imagined as well. You know, I think what Chuck just said was exactly right on the money. We have not listened to, you know, I think Chuck said the heartland, but I don't think we've listened to each other at all. And I know I've been at fault on this. In the last couple of years, I've really tried to analyze myself and analyze what I've done and what I do. And we don't listen to each other, and we don't trust each other. And, you know, the media, that includes me, that unfortunately, Tom, includes you. I can't believe it would, but it does. That 34% of Americans trust any of our voices. And that is because they view us as speaking down to them, pontificating, telling them, and not listening to them, declaring who they are. It's difficult for me to consider myself a conservative or to consider myself a Republican tonight. If this is what a conservative or a Republican is, then I'm not part of that. I don't want anything to do with that. But I understand why people are feeling this way when you have, what is it, 60% of the people who voted for Donald Trump don't like that they're voting for Donald Trump, and 54% who are voting for Hillary Clinton aren't happy about voting for Hillary Clinton.
So at the end of this, are you going to have a lot of orphan voters, people that feel, like yourself, that don't feel they have a place?
I think the majority feel that way. Even those people who voted for either one of these, they're not happy with it. And so I think on both sides, the parties have to realize now, boy, we need to start reflecting the people and listening to the people, because the people are entering a time, as we're seeing tonight, beyond reason. They're not listening. When you get into so much fear or so much anger, you know, the mind's mechanism is just to shut down reason, and they're not listening to reason. And we have got to find our way to each other. My goal in the next year is to meet with the people I think I disagree with the most and not try to talk them into anything, not try to have an argument with them. I just want to listen. I want to be able to say, is this what you believe and why you believe it? And when they say yes, then we could even begin to have a conversation. But at least for me, that's a year away before I could have a conversation. We have to start listening to people. If we don't, we're in trouble.
Glenn Beck, good to have you on. Thanks so much for spending some time with us from Dallas there. We continue to monitor the close races still up for grabs. We're waiting more poll closings. Stay with us. Things remain razor thin right now. We've got more coverage of Decision Night in America next.
Decision Night in America is sponsored by Amazon Echo.
Alexa, ask NBC News, when is Inauguration Day?
Inauguration date is Friday, January 20th, 2017.
Enable the NBC News skill on your Amazon Echo to enhance your election night experience.
Is President-elect of the United States. We're back now, and we have a whole run of presidential projections for you. They all belong to Bill Clinton. He has passed the magic number of 270. The governor of Arkansas, who was once described as being 40 at 16 and then 16 at 40, in terms of his behavior during those ages, he is now elected President of the United States, according to our projections. Tonight, Bill Clinton proves his title, the Comeback Kid. He is our projected winner as President of the United States. Tonight, 35 days after he first prepared a concession speech, Vice President Al Gore will give up his long fight for the presidency in a nationally televised speech, and Texas Governor George W. Bush will follow with his first speech to the country as President-elect. What has been the most bitterly contested presidential election in modern history is now expected to turn to notes of grace and reconciliation.
Giving Nevada to President Bush with its 5 electoral votes gives the president 274 electoral votes. He needed 270 to be reelected, so we are now saying George W. Bush has been reelected.
We have news. There will be young children in the White House for the first time since the Kennedy generation. An African American has broken the barrier as old as the Republic. An astonishing candidate, an astonishing campaign, a seismic shift in American politics. Hang on, Chuck. Hang on, Chuck.
Here we go.
We got some critical calls.
Yes, we do.
Let's see here. Roll them. Ohio. President Barack Obama remains President of the United States for a second term.
Welcome back. A view of the Ring Democracy Plaza. The map slowly filling in. We are waiting for a lot of states too close to call. It's a nail-biter of a night. The race to 270, you saw the numbers there. I want to show you a tweet that Hillary Clinton put out a little bit after 5 o'clock this afternoon. It says, I'm going to try and read it from here. This team has so much to be proud of. Whatever happens tonight, thank you for everything. That, by the way, was before any of the polls closed, but that again from Hillary Clinton. We're also watching the Dow futures right now, reacting to this night. The Dow futures down 625 points right now as investors continue to watch what's happening here. This race a lot closer at this point in the night than many people had anticipated, and it's going to keep us up all here quite late tonight. A lot of states too close to call. Let's go to Kristen Welker right now at Clinton headquarters. Kristen?
Lester, good evening. I've been talking to top Clinton campaign officials and her top surrogates, and they say they're not panicking. They still insist there is a path to win, even if they don't hold Florida or Ohio, not that they are conceding those states. The path for them, the states that they are focused on right now, include Michigan, Colorado, Virginia, and Pennsylvania. Lester, we've spent so much time talking about Pennsylvania. That is her firewall. That's where she held that massive rally last night. More than 30,000 people joined by the Obamas and, of course, her husband, that big unity rally. But I can tell you that I've been talking to Democrats who were invited here to what they were hoping would be a watch party and victory party, and they are candidly acknowledging that they have begun to get nervous, that this is a very close race. They were anticipating that, but obviously it's turning into a much closer race than they had hoped for. The mood here when this night initially got underway was ebullient. This crowd was breaking out into cheers throughout the evening. Now it has become much quieter. Those moments of cheering have become fewer and far between. But again, they still think they have a path, and they are very focused on the state of Michigan and Pennsylvania at this hour, Lester.
All right, right now, as you see on the screen, Trump leading in the electoral race with 150 to Clinton's 109. This will be a very long night. We'll be here with you every step of the way, keeping a close eye on those very tight battleground races. More poll closings coming up. We invite you to stay with us. We'll be right back.
Subscribe for more. Subscribe for more.